What's going on out there, Culture Junkie Nation? It is your boy Kenshiro back with another great episode of Culture Junkies Live. On today's episode, we're going to have a little bit of a debate. The debate is going to be centered around character development. Character development is actually super important with regards to all forms of media, whether it be movies, anime, comics, TV shows. But for the sake of the argument, we're going to be talking about comic book characters and, character development. Who does it better, Marvel or DC? Who's had the best type of, development, whether it be Spider-Man or Batman? We're going to talk all about that today. But first, introduce who's going to be on the show with me today. Sitting to my right is the great Dr. Kuji.
Hello, people. Great evening to you.
Sitting across from me is the Dapper One GQ.
If you have type 2 diabetes like I have, you're confronted with choices.
From remote, we got Lori Calcaterra.
Hi, everybody.
And man in the controls and being the fourth panelist.
What is he doing?
Fifth panelist, excuse me. Simon Says. What's up, my friend?
Wolverine is overrated and Spider-Man sucks.
That's cool. Look into the camera next time so people can see those baby blues of yours.
Seriously, he's blue-eyed now?
Maybe. I mean, Storm is blue-eyed. She's black, so hey, just saying.
Possibly coming on.
All right.
Keep that going. Wolverine Solid X was re-upped. And
yes, thank you very much, Wolverine Solid X.
Both of them over 2 years. Love
yes, that is lovely. That is lovely. If this is your first time joining us here on Culture Junkies Live, thank you very much for joining us on today's program. We're going to be entertaining you for the next 45 minutes with our main topics. And the last 15 minutes is dedicated to you, the people. In our Power Zero segment, where we'll talk about anything that you guys want to talk about. And let me briefly fill you in on how the show actually works. Over here on my right shoulder, we have our follower goal, which we, are about a fourth of the way there to reaching our goal. And once we do hit that goal, then we'll give a giveaway to all the followers in the chat. You can win a collectible. You can win PS5 games. You can win, a big coffee table book. Anything under the sun. So make sure you invite your friends, come over to Culture Junkies Live, and the show can be extended by looking over on my left shoulder, which is our extra life meter. You feel that meter, and we'll extend the show by an extra 15 minutes. You can trigger that goal actually twice. So
lost Lori. What happened?
It's all of those bits and tips and stuff in there. Lori dropped out.
She'll be back.
Yeah, I'm sure she'll be back. So while Lori is fixing her problems, maybe she had some kind of electrical issue or internet issue, we're going to run the gamut. So first things first. I don't know if you guys saw, if you remember Scott Pilgrim, the game. Remember Scott Pilgrim, the game? And it was like a 4-player couch co-op or internet co-op side-scrolling action thing based on Scott Pilgrim versus the World, the comic book series, not the movie. But we're getting the best of both worlds because now the anime series is coming out and the first pics and trailer debut today. And obviously it's starring the entire movie cast of Scott Pilgrim versus the World. So Chris Evans, you got, what's his name from Michael Cera. You got, I think it was Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Yep. She was Ramona. Brie Larson, Kieran Culkin,
Brandon Routh.
What? Brandon Routh. Yes, they're all back and voicing their roles. So I think it's going to be pretty cool. You guys get to check it out. Were you looking forward to it?
Not really. I mean, it'd be fun. The movie was great. Don't get me wrong, and the game was great. But like, what else you gonna do? Like the movie could have had a sequel, but like now we're well past that. So I guess the anime is gonna fill in for that.
Oh, okay. All right. He's kind of nonplussed about it. So maybe this will get kind of people really salivating in chat. So it kind of came out today that the executive producer of The Witcher said something extremely controversial, and I mean extremely controversial. This is like, you must be smoking crack or you're missing a few brain cells type of thing she said. So what was said was that Geralt of Rivia, popular character of, from the Witcher TV series, the Witcher books, and, the Witcher video games, has approached the same level of popularity as Superman and Batman. Now, I'm not one to call someone crazy, but she's really damn crazy. What do you guys think?
Stretch.
The stretch that
That's a very big stretch. Like, Superman and Batman are iconic on a level of just it's between the two of them. They have over 10 movies, live action movies. I mean, we'll get into the animated, but they have over 10 live action movies between those two characters. Batman, of course, has more because he's a better character.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, yeah, The Witcher is cool. It's a great game. For me, I didn't even know about The Witcher until the third game. Wouldn't even checking, for Witcher 1 or 2, didn't even care.
Same.
Geralt showed up in Soul Calibur. That was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of that, it's like, dude, yeah, you had a great actor that played him, and then you guys screwed him over, so he left.
Mm-hmm.
That character is not iconic on that level. Not yet.
No.
I don't think he's going to be.
No, I don't think he's going to be either. Like, that is no. That's crazy talk. I mean, Batman and Superman have a collective 160 years of publication history and appearances in various forms of media, whether it be books, whether it be video games, whether it be TV, whether it be in movies. Geralt of Rivia has had games and a TV show and some books. And not even an eighth of the length of publication history or knowledge in the public sphere. Never mind that not everybody knows who the hell Geralt of Rivia is. Everybody knows who Batman and Superman are. That's
in some form of fashion.
In some form of fashion. That's just crazy talk. In other news, the first images for the Toxic Avenger remake starring Peter Dinklage debuted today. I've never been a Trauma fan, like a big Trauma fan. I'm not sure if Dido, if you're a Trauma fan, but did you look at these and what do you think of Peter Dinklage and that stuff?
I watch movies, so I can't say I'm a fan of anything because I like what I watch for the most part. Now, I haven't seen them yet, but I did hear about it, and I'm just curious how it's going to be compared to the original one because the original one was kind of interesting.
Yeah,
all
because
those years ago. So,
correct me if I'm wrong, though. Peter Dinklage being, kind of a dwarf, that's new because I think wasn't Toxie like regular sized, like a normal dude.
He got big, but maybe when he gets the toxicity put on him, he's gonna get bigger. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
Like Bane. I mean, again, I haven't seen any images from it, so I don't know.
Me either.
We'll see.
Yeah,
it may be interesting.
Okay. Lori messaged me. She said she'll be back. She's got to deal with a little bit of a family issue, but she will be returning.
Not kind of dwarf either, is or isn't. As Freeman said, Picture Man checking in.
Hey, what's up, Picture Man?
864. Hey, Marcus 864, did you get your prize, sir?
Oh, yes. And if you did, we'd love, picture proof.
Photos.
Yeah,
man.
picture proof. That would be nice.
Right.
That would be nice. Last bit of news that I kind of wanted to bring up to you, and this is kind of important because this movie is getting ready to drop, I think, next week. The Blue Beetle Rotten Tomato score has just dropped.
Blue Beetle was this week.
Is it this week?
Yeah,
it's this week. It's Friday.
It's Friday? Okay. All right, cool. So this Friday, Blue Beetle's coming out. The Rotten Tomato score has dropped. You always get a little bit nervous when they drop the Rotten Tomato score this close to movie's release. It's only a couple of days before. It was sitting, last I looked this morning, it was at 88% fresh, not certified fresh, just fresh. So it's kind of a positive so far, but we've seen this story before with positive or fresh DC films, then they turn out to be complete trash. Case in point, IGN, notable haters that they have been lately, gave the movie a 3 out of 10.
Okay.
Do we think this movie, I mean, were you even excited to see Blue Beetle? Do we think this movie's going to be good based off of the trailer, that type of thing?
I mean, I've seen the they keep showing the TV spot over and over again. I Here's the thing: Blue Beetle falls into Young Justice territory, and once you get into Young Justice territory, for me, I don't really care that much. I'm gonna go see it because it's another movie to go see.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not a character that I care about in any shape, form, or capacity. It's just he's there. It's the next comic book film to go see. So that's what's going to happen with me. I'm going to go check it out. May like it, may not. I like the actor that's playing him. He does a great job in Cobra Kai. But as far as like being a fan of Blue Beetle, no. But at the same time, I was never a fan of Captain America until they made him really interesting and good. So
you're going to remain open-minded, you think?
I'm always open-minded.
Okay.
It's just, like I said, there's certain things that I care about and most things that I don't. But
okay,
I'll go check it out because it's there.
Lori has promptly rejoined us. She is back. She is back.
Happy Wednesday, where everything goes wrong. It's fine. Everything is fine.
Well, as long as everything is fine, then we're all good. So I was just telling the fellas that, Blue Beetle's Rotten Tomatoes score came out today, and it's fresh right now. It's not certified fresh, but it's just fresh. Do you think this movie is going to be good, even though IGN gave it a 3 out of 10? What do you think?
I have no confidence in this movie.
That's sad.
Sadly, I've seen the trailers, and there's not really anything that's enticing about it to me. So I probably won't be seeing it on the first go around.
Oh,
I mean, if the reviews come back that it's, oh my gosh, Laura, you have to go see this movie, blah blah blah, we'll make an effort to go see it. But you guys know we have kids, so it's like we're super choosy because we really can only see one movie as it comes out. Maybe more now that we have, like, my in-laws are now in Texas, so they can babysit more often. Okay. But like, we didn't even see John Wick 4 in the theater, right? Which is crazy.
Yeah.
So,
it was kind of out of the theater really fast. So I'm not.
A lot of John Wick.
We tried to see John Wick 4, but we turned around and it was gone. So, but that's my point. Is like, if I can't even get to the theater to see John Wick 4, why am I going to see Blue Beetle? Probably not.
That's all fair. These are all fair arguments.
That's my faith in DC movies right now. They haven't impressed me at all. And
okay, and this is definitely going to be a topic for another day, because the only thing I got to say, what is it going to take for y'all to give DC another chance? Like, come on. Like, y'all can't go in with this.
Do a good job, damn it. How many times have we been let down? How many?
I understand. I totally get it. I don't know. I want this movie to be good. I really do.
I would really like for it to be successful. And I am the first person to admit whenever I'm wrong, like, hey, you should go see this movie. You know what I mean? Like, if I have a really good feeling, I will tell people to go see it. But I haven't had that. So it's like, it's hard to get your hopes up and get excited for something when so many times we have been let down.
I got it.
So many times.
All right. So that's enough for Run the Gamut today. We already had a Twitch ad break. Patreon, or you want to run
later?
Okay. All right.
Bottom of the hour.
All right, so we'll do the Patreon a little bit right before we do the Power is Yours. So let's move on to talking about the tiers. So the discussion when we were spitballing some ideas of show topics, this one kind of came up, and it's centered around the biggest sin in American comic books going on today, and that is that there's a staggering lack of character development across the board in the big two, right? It's a double-edged sword of having legacy characters and a long time publication history that's like spanning, like I said before, 80 years, with some characters like Superman and Batman, and Wonder Woman I think is approaching 70 years or 75 years, one of the two, something like that. And one of the reasons why is because these publishers have this edict. They got to keep these legacy characters relatable or familiar to those fans that adapted to them decades ago, but they also need to write new stories and keep them fresh and keep new readers interested. And that's kind of the reason why manga has kind of like supplanted American comic books with the younger people, is because there's definitive beginnings and definitive ends to all of these stories, and usually there's pretty good character development inside. Not to say that manga doesn't have long-term characters, but case in point, one of the, you know what, the longest running active manga going right now, and it's a character that's one of my favorite characters of all time. It's Golgo 13. Golgo 13 has been in publication since 1968, and it's still going. Still going. Not published every week, not published every month, but published occasionally. But he still counts as being an active character. But Golgo 13 is also not a super popular character in the Western, or is kind of popular in Japan, but as a legacy character. But he's not hot. You know what I mean? Not like Goku or Naruto or any of the other characters that have been able to maintain the attention. So I wanted to have the discussion about character development. Who's been allowed to evolve the most over the years, and we can rank them with like who's had the best, who's had the worst, that type of thing. Who just can't seem to shake that status quo. So I came up with like a list: Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, Iron Man, the Hulk. These are all characters that have firmly established status quos. You know who they are, and they've remained pretty much the same over the years. Let's take Batman for instance. What is Batman defined as? GQ, like you can do this. Like, what is Batman typically defined as? What would you say is Batman's status quo?
He is a rich kid that had a really bad day one day, and it went kind of south.
Mm-hmm.
So he decided to take that and pull himself up by his bootstraps, so to speak. And,
he put that legacy money, pull himself up by his bootstraps.
His butler picked him up from the police station. But no, I mean realistically, he's the ultimate vigilante. He is probably the most driven character that has ever been written for either side, in the sense of very passionate about his particular goal that he has set for himself. Obviously, he's gone through a lot of iterations. He started off carrying a gun, like a lot of detective characters back in the day. But obviously, the writers eventually decided that didn't make any sense for somebody who lost his parents to gun violence. So they changed that, gave him the no killing oath. Obviously, he has expanded his Bat family reluctantly in a lot of instances. Just kind of, he doesn't like losing people, so he's very obviously protective of his Bat family. Has a very amazing rogues gallery. Throughout the years, a lot of different people have blamed Batman's existence on the creating of a lot of his rogues gallery. In the sense that he, elicits the challenge to come to Gotham and take down Batman, which of course Bane actually did do. But throughout, he's been a very constant vigilante with a very hard line code. He's essentially the anti-Punisher because they both, extreme violence.
Extreme violence.
But obviously, Batman has the will not kill code, depending on who's writing him and depending on who's putting him on screen. Snyder turned him into a murderer in his films.
Unrepentant murderer, I might add.
Did kind of the same thing. Had him kill a couple people in his films. So, I mean, that's always been Batman, though. Batman has always been the constant, best vigilante out there. The rich guy, obviously, they've made him poor a few times. So it's like, as far as development goes, in my opinion, yeah, they'll throw him a couple curveballs here and there, but he's kind of he's been consistent throughout all this time.
Now, to not to counter your argument, but really, you touched on his Bat family, and the Bat family, the development of the Bat family has really only been a development that has happened over the past, I'd say, 15 years, 15, 20 years.
Oh no, absolutely.
So the status quo was mostly his Bat family consisted of Alfred and Dick Grayson, right?
Well, Jason Todd.
Okay, Jason Todd and maybe Tim Drake, right? But it was always the sons that were kind of adopted by him, right?
Well, no, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that's, again, when I say the Bat family, yes, we're mainly talking about the Robins.
Right.
Batgirl, of course, came into the fold only because she figured out who he was.
Right.
And, she was going to do it anyway.
Right.
As far as being a crime.
Right.
Adding like Batwing, like Lucius Fox's son and all that, that's just them throwing stuff at the wall, seeing what sticks. When I say Bat family, I'm talking about characters that Bruce himself trained, brought in under his wing or whatever. Not like, we need another Bat person, so let's throw them in there, like Batwoman and some of the. It's like, no.
Okay,
Bat family
and that's fair, right?
The people that have either lived in the house as wards or been given his blessing because, like, well, damn it, you found out my identity and you're my best friend's basic daughter, so I gotta look after you.
So now, if I was to tell you, and this is, Lori, you can jump in, and Simon says you can jump in as well, or Dido as well, you can jump in as well. But if I was to tell you that the current state of Batman is he's broke, the Joker like stole all his money, and Lucius, it essentially ended up in the hands of Lucius Fox, and Lucius did not give it back. Like, Bruce is broke, like he's functionally broke. Okay. He's somehow still manages to have his tech, but I think he's the one doing all of it now himself. So he's become more of a self-made man in that aspect. He still has a little bit of money, but it's not like he had freewheeling, I can do whatever the hell I want, create a gadget for anything type of money. His Bat family has expanded to the point where he doesn't necessarily feel alone anymore. He's let a lot more people in. He's softened quite a bit, I would say, to be more warm and welcoming to his friends, Clark, Diana, Barry. Still doesn't really fuck with the Green Lanterns, but that's always been a thing with him. I'm just saying that's always been a thing with him. But when I say that, would you say that's really good character development that he has this expanded family, almost got married to Catwoman? It kind of really committed, acknowledges that openly that he loves her and needs her in his life. He has a son, Damian Wayne. When I say that, would you say that's really great character development for Batman, and would you want them to revert him back to his old status quo? Or would you rather let him just keep on going?
I got an opinion. I'm letting somebody else say it.
Okay. No, go ahead.
It is hard to develop a character that has been around for that long in a dramatic way and not piss off the fans. So I just think it has to be done in such a subtle way that over time, and building his family and having him be softer and more open is definitely a big change for Batman, who was so closed off and like the lone wolf, what I mean? Always had a plan to beat everybody. So that is some development, but it's not huge. It's not life-changing. When you look at some other characters around in comics, that's not a ton of development.
Can you give a contrast?
Adding people. What's that?
Can you give a better example of who's had better development?
Invincible. Mark.
Okay. Invincible is one of the best comics ever.
A kid who has no powers, gets powers, has to deal with getting the powers, becomes part of a team, has to deal with the team, finds out who his father is, finds out what the purpose of his race is. That's huge development, right? And then he has to make a choice of whether he goes along with his alien race or if he sticks with his his mother's family and Earth. He's had multiple relationships. He's had so many problems. Been to other planets, had multiple jobs. It's like that's to me character development because he keeps moving forward from whatever happens, and it keeps going with him. He he changes his character. That's character development to me. Not like, oh, we added another Robin because we lost the last one, but we really haven't changed anything else.
No, and that's really good. And I love the use of Invincible in this context. It's almost cheating in a way because Image doesn't have those same trappings like Marvel and DC, whereas that's
the problem.
Yeah.
And that's the big difference is that Batman has been around for so long. Superman has been around for so long that at this point, if you try changing their character, are you going to piss people off?
Guaranteed. It's already happened. Look what happened when they made Jace Fox the Black Batman. People were pissed. They were pissed. They were like, wait a minute, Bruce Wayne isn't going to be Batman anymore? What is this?
But that's happened before a couple of times too. I mean, Batman Beyond and then passing down the mantle. People just have a hard time with those specific characters because they've been around for a long time. So unless the change the character development started like way back when,
Mhm.
and it's slowly been developing over time. It's so hard for these legacy characters who've been around for so long that people know and have grown up with and loved. They will get really upset because, again, they feel entitled to
Okay.
these stories because
right.
they've grown up with them.
So let's establish a
Right?
base. Let's establish a really good base. So are we saying that Invincible is the paragon or the top tier of character development in comic book form, where he's been allowed to evolve, he has a definitive beginning, and Invincible is over. Like, it hasn't been published in almost 10 years because the series is over. It has an end. Will we say
I think
Invincible
that's
is
a
the
really good
best?
example. I can think of a few other ones. Walking Dead, Rick from Walking Dead started
Good.
one way and
Really good one,
completely changed
actually.
throughout that series, right?
Really good. Really good.
Mhm.
Okay, so it's, again, this is almost kind of cheating. All those image
Again,
books.
it's the same thing. We're not
Yeah.
talking about legacy characters
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah, we're not
And
talking.
that's what I think is good character development. But again, same thing. It's like there was a beginning, there was an end. It's no longer being written and produced. So we got to see the whole character development and it's over.
Okay.
It's like that to me again is good character development, and it's not possible with these legacy characters.
All right,
It's
well,
not.
let's see how close some of the legacy characters can come to that.
Okay.
So if we consider
Spider-Man.
the image brand or storytelling to be the pinnacle, which characters would we say has come the closest? So, like, we talked about Spider-Man. Spider-Man's been
Spider-Man.
married. He's had a kid. They've retconned the kid out. They've Mephisto devil dealed, the dissolution of his marriage. He always seems to get stuck back into being the down in his luck, can never seem to get ahead hero that will always fight even when it really costs him a lot personally.
That's not development then.
And that's why I make an argument, while there's been some great Spider-Man stories, the fact that Marvel editorial keeps yanking him back, like the most
Superior Spider-Man, when Otto took over his brain and actually was like, you're smart, what the hell are you doing? You should be making money off of your smarts. And essentially developed as this multinational, brand or company where Spider-Man was getting paid. Like, he was rich. He was richer than Tony Stark at one point. And they yanked all that back. They destroyed all of it to put him back to being friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, and basically said he can never be more than just that. I hate that. I hate it.
Yep.
I hate that.
But that's the big two. That's Marvel DC, and that's what we're always going to get. They can't change too far from that legacy character again, because they're gonna piss off their audience.
Okay.
They're gonna lose readers.
Let's try this then. Let's try a big two type.
Another one.
Let's try a big two team that essentially has been through a lot of iterations. Will we consider them to be character development? So let's talk about the X-Men, right?
X-Men. Okay.
The X-Men. Well, go ahead, Simon Says. What were you going to say?
I was going to say Kane Marco did go through a character development. I mean, if you think about it, he started off as a villain and then gradually started becoming more of like a hero, actually working with the X-Men.
Yes, and that's the way he is now. Like, so K. Marco, for those of you out there, is the Juggernaut.
Mm-hmm.
And the Juggernaut was always kind of like this one-trick pony. Nobody can stop the Juggernaut. Nobody can move the Juggernaut. Magically enhanced. He was literally just a foil because he hated his half-brother, Charles Xavier.
Mm-hmm.
In the more recent, comic book stories of the X-Men, where the X-Men have essentially solved for death, like they can endlessly reinvent or reincarnate themselves. The mutant population founded this whole nation. They became rich because they were farming out, mutant drugs that were like miracle drugs. A really great development with the X-Men.
Is it?
It has been, but here we go again. Literally in the Hellfire Gala, just this past month, they started the process of destroying all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And setting them back to the way they were, where humanity openly hates the X-Men or hates mutants, distrustful of mutants because it's all about prejudice and all this other kind of stuff. Now,
is it just really just okay? This is what I'm seeing. And this seems to be the pattern with both of the comics.
Companies.
Companies.
Yeah.
Rather. Either make them poor, because nothing, because like for example with Batman, all of a sudden Batman softened. Of course, you soften them now that you're not richer than everybody. You need help and handouts and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it's either make them poor or make them rich. This is the reason why on TV shows, they never let a family on a TV show win the lottery, win a lot of big money, win anything that changes the story that you're going to sit there and watch from week to week, because people want to watch the struggle. They don't want to see the success. So this seems to be the exact same thing they're doing with the comics, where it's just like Laurie said, if you change it too much, people are not gonna want to read it, not gonna like it, they're not gonna accept it.
Which is a shame, because a lot of the stuff they were doing with the House of X, Powers of X was really fascinating stuff, really good stuff, and it did bring up a bunch of ethical, moral dilemmas that a lot of the characters were a lot of the writers were needing to solve for. Simon says you were about to say something. What was that?
No, I was agreeing with you what you're saying, but how the House of X is going now is like they're going back to like you said. Oh yeah, hate mutants, kill all the mutants. It's just the same thing all over again.
Yeah, it's the same thing all over again, and which is a shame again, because a lot of these things have been allowed to evolve. The Hulk has also been, reverted back to the way he was before, just most recently. Iron Man is now not rich. His company has been bought out by Fei Long, who is an arch nemesis of the X-Men. So all of his designs, and actually Fei Long has created Iron Man Sentinels, essentially, that are now hunting with the mutants. So Iron Man and the X-Men are kind of like intertwined. In fact, Tony Stark is getting ready to marry Emma Frost. So that's a whole other deal. That's a whole other deal.
I don't read comics anymore. They just again throwing a whole bunch of stuff at the wall, trying to see what sticks.
Yeah,
I like newer independent comics because they're more interesting stories, like Path of the Pale Rider. But
shameless plug, but that not so shameless. It's cool.
Not a shameless. There's no shame in the plug. It's a good book.
Yes, it is a good book.
You happen to have somebody that's very connected to the books. Have me on the show right now. But no, the independent stories are better in the sense that they're not tied to all that legacy. They're not trying to, let's see if we can do it this week and try this out, and if it doesn't work, we'll just get another writer on it and have to retcon it all later. That gets really annoying.
Is the retcon the worst thing that has happened in comic books, in comic book writing?
Yes.
And in the fact that, would it be better if the writers were not allowed to undo some of the holes that they write themselves in? Like one of the primary reasons why Joe Quesada, when he was editor-in-chief at Marvel, of him undoing Spider-Man's marriage, was because he said he felt like the character had become boring and people couldn't relate to him. I'm like, you're telling me fans that grew up with Spider-Man didn't get married, didn't have children? They tried to solve for this by having Miles Morales be the younger, Spider-Man that some kids could relate to. But the problem is that he's Latino. He's Afro-Latino. So they were probably worried about certain kids not being able to relate to him, which is nonsense, seeing as how popular Into the Spider-Verse has become. Yeah. So what was the problem with letting Peter persist as being the older, more life-worn Spider-Man who's married and has a kid and has all these other adult problems, and you have this younger Spider-Man who has the young people problems, and publish them side by side? Best of both worlds. Nobody loses. You know what I mean? I feel like it'd be better that. So Follow Marvel's saying, some writers have weird excuses for changes. They 100% do. They always do. And Hannah Omega saying some retcons are better done than others. It depends on the storytelling, which is also true. It's also very true, right? So you said something earlier about GQ. You said if you were to, who has better character development, Marvel or DC? If you look at DC now, Superman has a family. Batman has a family. Batman isn't rich. You look at Marvel, and they're currently in the midst of literally resetting their characters all back to their original status quo. The Hulk is a raging monster. Spider-Man's down on his luck. The X-Men are hated by all of humanity.
Yeah, they about to be total genocide with the X-Men.
Yeah. So who does it better? Character development.
Yeah, it used to be Marvel until you told me all these goofy stories that they're talking about doing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like when it really comes down to it, character development is really in the hands of the writer and the publisher, and whether or not they're going to let it fly. Because, for example, Harley Quinn in DC has gone through a lot of changes, which is actually a good thing.
Yeah.
Because she started off, obviously as basically Joker's, girlfriend in a sense, roundabout way. Marcus 64, appreciate the bits there, sir.
Thanks, sir.
Started off as Joker's girlfriend, sort of, kind of, and then evolved into her own character, basically. Obviously, came from the animated series. Got a little bit of development in the Batman animated series comic books as well, and then, of course, was brought into the mainstream line. Has dated Deadshot.
That's true. She did.
Dated Poison Ivy, technically. Been friends with Power Girl. Like it's like she's been all around throughout the various books. But as far as her becoming her own character, they did a really good job with that because they've even brought in another character, I believe, called Punchline. That's supposed to almost be like the new Harley.
Terrible
in a sense, but she's not as good.
She's not nearly as good.
So.
She's not nearly as intriguing as Harley is, and Joker doesn't even like her. Like that's the other thing. Joker doesn't even really like her. Right. So there's that to consider as well. But great point. Harley has evolved past what she used to be. So Dido, you've been kind of a passive listener to a lot of these things. When you hear the things that we kind of been talking about, who would you say is doing character development better? And did any of the things that were discussed interest you?
I can't speak on comics whatsoever because I don't read them. When it comes to character developments that I'm aware of, DC unfortunately has not done too much of developing because if you have a legacy character, you only can change them so much, tweak them here and there, do little bits in there. To me, I think the whole thing, Bruce Wayne losing his money is stupid because billionaires can't lose that much money. It's just the dumbest thing in the world. It doesn't happen. They got so many assets that you literally cannot lose that money. And it just seems kind of unrealistic, but they're trying to tell a story. What if Batman was broke? And try to give him character development in that aspect. That it just sounds ridiculous. To me, I mean, most of the ground characters sound like they have the most character development because we are all human beings that have, things that we like, dislike, hate, relationships that come and go. And they don't really do that in DC. They do that in the Marvel ground characters. They do that with the X-Men, do that with Spider-Man. They do that with most of those characters. And that was one of the reasons why they were even created is because they got superpowers, but they have to deal with real life situations. So, for me, it just on the outside looking in, DC, they don't develop their characters as well. They may tell great stories. And as I've been told, they got a lot of great stories out there, but they don't really have problems that can be developed. Oh my gosh, the world is good. I mean, Superman could literally stop any problem if he wanted to. The writers decide on how they're gonna, cut off his balls per se, because he could stop anything at the drop of a hat. But they don't because they're trying to give him some kind of conflict, and that's kind of forced. Whereas Spider-Man, how's he gonna make his rent? Like, oh my gosh, I missed my and I got problems with Gwen Stacy or
Spider-Gwen?
No, whoever he's dating at the time, no matter.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying I missed some appointments, so I got problems. That is more of a character development than just being a superpower person that can stop stuff, but there's some magical being that restricts them. I mean, Superman is so much powerful. All the stuff I hear about that he can crush black holes. Come on now, no being should ever be able to, at all, ever. So like, I don't
Crushing
see,
black holes thing is new. I don't know if I've heard that.
I've seen him in a comic book watching what was it?
Yeah,
Death Battle. He was holding a black hole in his hand,
Mhm.
bro. So
Yeah.
like,
Superman is ridiculous.
ridiculous.
Dude.
like
That's why,
get the
I
fuck
said,
out. There's nothing that should be able to
So
stop
ridiculous.
this guy. So how do you develop a character like that?
That's so crazy.
So
Exactly.
There-
Exactly.
So I don't know. I watch a lot of movies. I watch the TV shows. I don't read the comics.
Yeah. Go ahead, Simon Says.
Well, there was a story back in I forgot. It was drawn by Alex Ross, and what was the issue was he was trying to solve like hunger, like global hunger, all that stuff.
I think he's talking about Superman for All Seasons. Right?
Yes,
Okay.
for all seasons. Yeah. That was the one where it was like basically he tried to solve the world's problems, but realized that no matter what he tried, he couldn't solve the world's problems. And no matter how strong he was, no matter how intelligent he was, it just didn't make a difference. So he was like, I mean, I'm the strongest person in the universe, and I can't solve issues in other world nations because I don't want to like become like how he became
become
in
God,
Injustice.
Yeah.
How he decided to become like a tyrant.
Yeah.
That's how you if you think about it, if he were to stop everything, he would have to become like he was in Injustice.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
That is all true. All right, so if we were to tier, like obviously Image is the best. Dido would say, Marvel, then DC. It kind of flips for me a little bit. GQ, I know you said historically Marvel has done better with their character development. In the fact that a lot of the changes that some of these characters have had over the years have stayed in place, whether we're talking about Tony Stark and his ongoing battle with alcoholism or substance abuse in general. We would be talking about Captain America learning how to reconcile his old world way of thinking and bring it to a modern day way where he's not just a soldier. He doesn't blindly follow the orders of any one government. He does what he feels is right at all, and whether that costs him personally with his country or not, to hell with it. He'll still deal with that. Spider-Man having to deal with loss like numerous times over his life. His status, the new status quo is that J. Jonah Jameson knows who Peter is now. Doesn't hate him and actively tries to help him. In fact, they're actually related by marriage. Aunt May married
His father.
Jameson's father.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Aunt May married Jameson's father. He died. He's already dead. So Aunt May is a widow again. Aunt May is a widow again for the second time.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Are we talking about like
Yeah, that
nice,
happened.
young, hot Marissa Tomei?
No,
Aunt May?
no,
Or are we talking about
Nope. Talking old Aunt May. Talking old Aunt May. Yes. Talking old Aunt May. Talking old Aunt May.
You serious?
Serious as a heart attack. So,
That's disgusting.
and again, I feel like Marvel for the most part has done a really good job with their character development. DC, I think, gets the nod for me most recently because their changes until another crisis seems to come along and resets the stage again, because it's going to happen, is DC.
That's why, like I said, that's
Like
why I don't give
clockwork.
them a pass on their so-called development. They come through and New 52,
but
New
I-
Crisis. It's like, come on, dude.
Yeah. I hated all that stuff.
Yeah. So that's
Like,
that's.
I was a fan, actually. I know a lot of people hated it. I was actually a fan of the whole Superman Wonder Woman relationship because it made sense to me. At the time when they wrote it, it made sense to me. Like, why shouldn't they date? Why shouldn't they? Like, they're two of the most powerful beings, and like they relate to each other more than to anybody else. It just made sense to me. But they undid it. Whatever.
Yeah.
I digress. I kind of wish retconning didn't exist, and they would let the status quo and these changes ride and be forced to be more like manga and anime, to where whatever you write, you can't undo it. You have to.
Can I
just
say something
go.
about
Let
that?
it, please go ahead.
Let it ride.
The reason why Marvel, DC, and Image are so different, of course, is because Image, you're dealing with one writer in the project. It's an independent project. Marvel and DC own these IPs, so you're getting multiple writers involved in this project. So that's why always the retcon is because, okay, now we're going to start over because XYZ writer is now taking over the project, and they can't keep the 72 things that have happened to Batman straight because they're coming in fresh. And Marvel's like, Marvel and DC will be like, I want my issue tomorrow. You know what I mean?
But what
so
happened?
It's like, that's why they go back to just the bare bones character and they develop them from there. It's because everybody knows the canon on these characters from the beginning. But like, if you're going to go through all the side quests, pretty much, it's too much. It's too much for a new writer to come in and hit the ground running and be able to include all of those things in the new arc.
But what happened to the creative writing process where somebody writes something and takes a character to one place, and then the next person comes after that and then picks that up and just takes it to a whole nother level? It always seems like when a writer is done, they have to clean up their sandbox and leave it for the next person to do something else. Why can't someone pick up Spider-Man saying, after he's been, created Parker Industries, let's give him another problem. Now let's give him a corporate takeover type of problem, and he has to learn how to deal with that without being a superhero.
But then how far does it go is the question. Because me as a writer, I come in and this character is 70 years old. How much of that do I have to now include in the new story going forward?
All of it.
And if I've never written that character before, how difficult is that going to be for me to learn all this stuff, the ins and outs to include without any loopholes?
So are you saying, and I'm just asking, as a writer, does that make it less appealing for you to pick up and for you have to adjust to what a previous writer has done?
Well, number one, most of the time they don't want that. They want you to pitch a new idea that's never been seen before. Number two, they don't care. They want you to, if you need to retcon to set things straight, that's fine. They would rather not have a loophole. And for me, it would be much easier for me to start from the beginning when Batman lost his parents and is growing up than for me to remember the 75 things that have happened to him, over time, all these different arcs, to try and go forward from that. If I have a new and original idea, that's what they're going to take. And so that's what's happening at Marvel and DC is these new writers are coming in and they don't want to have loopholes. So they just start it over. And that's the huge difference between, these big corporations, Marvel and DC, owning the characters, right? Versus Image, where it's creator owned. That's the big difference.
Yeah. Not only that, I mean, if you come in on a book, nobody wants sloppy seconds. Like,
no,
I want fresh, new take.
And if you pitch something that's too similar, they won't even take you. They want something new.
Interesting. Okay. I mean, I guess that's just
when I run my show, I had Chuck Dixon on, and Chuck Dixon was writing Batman in the 90s and created the character of Bane. And that's where I'm getting this stuff from, where it's like he had to pitch new things and create new characters for them to continue working with him. It's crazy. That's
really interesting. I would love to hear more about that at some point. But by a side note, before we get ready to turn it over to the people, Lori just literally illustrated why it is that we keep seeing the Waynes die in all these movies. It's because they want to keep resetting it. They want to keep resetting the stage for people. So we must always see Martha and Thomas die.
Everybody wants
Groundhog's Day for the Waynes.
They want to do their version. Again, they want to do that version of that. So that's why we keep seeing it.
We hit them patrons up first.
Because it's easy.
That too.
All right, guys, we're going to hit the patrons and then with a thank you, and then we'll come back and the power is yours.
The entire Culture Junkies crew would like to thank you for tuning into our programming. We hope you are enjoying our content as much as we enjoy making it. One thing that helps us continue bringing you our unique content is viewer support. By visiting the Culture Junkies Patreon page, you will have the opportunity to select the support level that works best for you. Not only will your support help keep the Culture Junkie Nation growing, but you will make yourself eligible to receive patron-exclusive swag. Please take a moment to consider supporting us and join the ranks of the supporters you see listed on the screen. We would like to also give a special shout out to our Culture Junkies level and above patrons: DeMarcus Smith, Fab Nerd Life, Nanette, The Other Steve, and Black Crowned Knight. Remember, for as little as $1 a month, you can support a Culture Junkie. Thank you.
The power is yours.
Okay, so what is on everybody's minds? So first and foremost, let's hit what's in the chat. So Hannah Omega asks, is Cassandra Cain still orphan or Batgirl now? She is now Batgirl. No more orphan.
Drew Jameson became Spider-Man with unique costume. According to the second film, when Spider-Man threw away his costume, Jameson put it on in a deleted scene. And was, you know, sitting around his office doing stuff, looking kind of funny. Who knows? I don't know. Jameson is a character that was really, really well done by J.K. Simmons, and I'll leave it at that.
Mhm.
Yes,
Anybody else is gonna be able to fill that shoe.
Yes, he is.
Shoes.
A couple more things. So Hannah Omega says Storm and Rogue had great character development in X-Men. What about what they did with Cyclops becoming a bad guy? Now, see, I didn't consider Cyclops being a bad guy. He was.
I mean, he's kind of a dick.
He was only a dick because he got fed up with the way humanity was treating them.
He's always been a dick.
And then Xavier
No one
was
has
lying
ever
to him
liked
throughout
Cyclops.
his entire
I like
life.
Cyclops. Look, I've always liked Cyclops. I always thought
I
Cyclops
met
was
the
cool.
X-Men.
Oh.
The X-Men. Nobody likes him.
Nobody really likes Cyclops.
I like
anyway.
Cyclops.
Yeah, I
Damn it.
like Cyclops.
Q is with me.
Yeah,
We're not
yeah,
talking
yeah.
about the readers. We're talking about the characters. Nobody likes him.
I think there's more respect for Cyclops than you.
I don't even think Jean likes Cyclops.
She
really.
does. She does.
No, she
He
doesn't.
cheated on
she
her.
does.
She pities
With
him.
her clone.
Right.
She's moved
pities
past
him.
that. She's moved past that.
Whatever.
In fact, they were in it. You know what? I'm not even gonna get into it. Never mind. Now I'm not gonna. Rogue has had great character development.
Yes.
I feel like.
Yes.
Her and Gambit are married. They're still married. She's gotten control of her powers where she can control it whether
That's cheesy.
where she's
That's absolutely cheesy.
that she can control it.
Control it to that. No, the whole thing and the whole gist of her character
But she can't
was
touch
she
anybody.
cannot touch anybody. Like that was the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like that was
She
what
started
made
touching
her
people,
character
it's
who
like,
she
what's the
was and
point?
made her struggle so like heartbreaking for her because she was a teenager that couldn't even kiss her first boyfriend because she damn near killed him. Now you turn this you can turn it off when you want to. Why? Like that's not developed to me. That's not developed. That's a cop out.
That's a cheat code.
Yeah. Like no, like that. No, you can love Gambit, but you can never touch him. Would be a really interesting story for them to tell. But no,
I guess they figured that they milked that cow for as long as they could. So now they've moved past it. It is what it is.
she shouldn't even be able to give birth.
I think that's going to be the next thing they do.
Well, I don't know how. Hold up, I don't know how they did it in Age of Apocalypse, but she had a kid with Magneto. So.
Yeah, it was something with Magneto's powers could negate her deal. I think that's what. But it was always icky having Magneto be like knocking up Rogue. That was always kind of weird.
Well,
No,
either-
they had a weird relationship during like Jim Lee era. It was kind of like a weird thing that they had, but then they just they left it. They just left it.
The whole Magneto Rogue thing was always weird to me.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, definitely. But
Yeah.
at the same time, I mean, it's you go to the Savage Land, you don't have any powers, or the other way to make it work is you just have Leech stay in the room with them while they doing their thing.
I'm sure Artie would love that. I'm sure Artie would love that.
You need a witness? Gross.
Right. Marcus A64. Y'all think X-Men 97 they might turn him into a dick sometime, saving the
Who, Cyclops?
Cyclops.
Well, Cyclops has always been an A.
What in the
Haven't
animated
seen anything
series?
new.
In the animated series, he 100% kind of was really a dick.
I mean, kind of. He was.
he
Teacher's
was.
pet punk. He was annoying.
He was a teacher's pet punk. I love that. Cyclops
That-
never really stopped
all
being a
Marvel,
dick, says
100% right.
Ron Marvel.
Let's see. If Rogue has a kid, is it born into a coma with her having absorbed the infant mind? Good question.
That's what will make it interesting.
But no, she can control it now. So
No,
you can't have
but
that story.
internally, because that baby is always touching her,
Control it.
she can control absorbing other people that by her touch. Something that's inside of her, that's different.
Well, there is this stuff called embryonic fluid that you're floating around in, so she's not actually touching the baby.
The baby would just have its own mutant powers. That's how they're gonna write it. It's a shield. It's a something. You know what I mean? Where it's immune to that type of power. That's it. That's
Mr. Busy TV, I got the animated series theme stuck in my head. It's one of the greatest themes of all time.
Oh, heck yes.
Oh, that's Mr. Busy. Mr. Busy has a very cool music show.
He does?
Yeah, Mr. Busy. Yeah, I recognize that name. I was like, okay, I've
Yeah.
seen that name before.
Yeah. I think it's been a while since you've been on the show. I haven't seen him in a while.
I think he does it on Sunday, if I remember.
Oh,
right.
okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Let's check that out.
Yo, speaking of like independent books, I just like to throw this out there. I told y'all about this one book, but I just might want to like throw it out there for everybody. Paybacks is a very good book.
Paybacks?
Paybacks. Yeah, it was written by Donny Cates. So basically the book is about basically a group of superheroes that are now in debt to like a broker. And
What?
Yeah. Basically, so it starts off with one of the he's like basically like Bruce Wayne or whatnot, but then he took out a loan to get his gear to one of these brokers, and now they come and collecting his because he didn't pay his basically repossessing his superhero shit.
That actually would be an interesting thing for Spider-Man, actually.
Yeah, that would be cool. I think wasn't there like a crew in Marvel back in the day that they did the same thing? They like repossessed like superheroes.
I think you're thinking of Damage Control, but I don't think
No. Either that or DC. I couldn't remember which one it was, but I like Paybacks. I read it.
I don't remember anything like that in DC, but or Marvel, but I think that would be a really interesting thing to have, especially because we always wonder like who's funding the Avengers, who's funding all of these teams and their vehicles and stuff like that. What kind of subsidies are they getting in order to actually remain solvent?
Both teams have billionaires on their team.
Yep.
That's kind of the end of it. Like
Bruce
Batman's on
Wayne
Justice League and
Tony
Tony
Stark.
Stark. Right.
Right.
That's
But
see, that's the thing, right? The Avengers now,
don't have Tony.
It's not T'Challa because Wakanda ain't funding them. It's not Tony Stark either because he ain't got no damn money.
Yeah, it's
so
kind
who's doing it?
Yeah, it's kind of like
now
that.
you just
that's
found
what
a
that's when they
loophole.
did this book. Is like they wanted to know. They wanted to like put a perspective on like, all right, who's funding all these heroes and everything, and then like, what happens if y'all not paying the bill? Well, we coming back and grabbing our stuff back.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, isn't that what
That's
happened
fun.
in Falcon and Winter Soldier, where he had to like sell his boat?
Yeah, well,
He's like,
that's
hey, man, I
'cause
can't get a loan.
He blipped out of existence.
Yeah,
Like I done saved the damn world and I can't get a loan. Like
Yeah.
what is
sorry.
But see,
Right, and the bank's
that's-
like, "Can I have an autograph?" And he's like,
See, that's the origin story for a villain turn right there.
for real?
"Right,
Hey, like if Sam came across that table, I wouldn't have blamed him.
Yeah.
For real. That
right."
was great.
But
I'm
he
not
wouldn't.
saying-
It's
like,
not
if I
his
can't even get a
character,
bank
but
loan,
still,
No,
I'll
you're
I
right. He
mean,
wouldn't, but he'd be within his rights to do that. I feel like X Factor was the closest thing for a while. They were like broke X-Men with a Gen 13 feel. Yeah, I could kind of see that. He's talking about X Factor with Multiple Man, the detective agency. That kind of makes sense.
Okay, I thought you were talking about the government one with
No.
Havoc and them.
Wolverine Solid X. Who wins Batman versus Iron Man? Like in what context are we talking here?
To fight.
Like in a straight up fight,
or money wise.
or money wise? Because if we're talking tech, it's going to be Iron Man all day. If we're talking a fight,
Batman.
if Tony ain't got that armor, forget it.
right?
Forget it.
He's gonna be like Guy Gardner on the floor, knocked out.
Right.
Yeah,
now
but
if we're talking
Batman-
armor versus armor, I'm still giving it to Iron Man. But not saying Bruce is no slouch because he ain't.
Hold on.
Just saying.
That
Batman did create a robot to kill him.
I mean, Batman.
Fail safe.
Batman made armor that he could fight Superman in.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right, but he
Tony
doesn't
made
wear it
armor
all
to fight
the time.
Hulk in.
Mm-hmm.
Who won their fight though? I don't think I've ever seen Iron Man beat Hulk,
No.
he is
No.
not.
but I've seen Batman.
You've
beat
seen
Superman.
Batman beat Superman. I don't know if okay, so when I remember that one storyline when the Justice League got Jokerized and Batman was trying to fight Superman in the armor, Superman tore him apart. So I don't know if that counts.
But it goes back to what Dido said earlier. Superman is a ridiculously overpowered, should never lose character anyway. So anytime they write him to lose, it's because of a couple of circumstances, or this happened or that happened, and then he loses. You know, but like Hand of Omega said, Batman has an armor to stand up to Darkseid. I know Iron Man ain't standing up to Darkseid at all.
Right.
No,
That's a good point.
no, he's got Thanos, but he ain't going 1-on-1 against Thanos.
And not only that, it's like, look at all the
Darkseid still won.
Of course,
of course he did. His Darkseid, of course he did.
I mean, look at all those different tech suits that Batman had with all those toys. Tech Shield Batman. Which is
Oh man,
where does he get
Batman
those
number
wonderful
three.
toys?
Batman number 3 was the best one. Tech Shield Batman.
Yeah, Tech Shield.
But no,
Batman.
I think Batman has got it. Now, granted, Tony's got the advantage on the amount of suits he's made throughout the years, but then again, Batman has too. So it's like, really just comes down to who wants it more. And when it comes down to who wants it more, I think Batman gets it.
Superior
I
Iron
think
Man
it
was.
depends on how much time they've had to prep and if they knew the fight was coming.
Oh my God! Not
King
the
of
prep
Prep Time
time
is Batman.
argument again. Oh God! Prep
Sorry.
time.
King of Prep Time is Batman.
Yes, he is.
Batman.
God dang.
Because Batman has a plan for everything.
Everything.
Tony will probably just wing it.
Yes, he would. You're right.
Batman probably has a button to throw Tony a shot of vodka.
Oh, that's cool.
You are.
That's
Batman-
cool.
look
No,
what I
that's
got. I
cold.
just found this in my belt. Ooh.
Right.
Yo, that's
Batman
cool.
has
Game
no
over.
chill, so he will exploit every
He'd have
possible advantage.
tranquilizer darts full of
Right.
vodka.
Mhm.
All right, here we go. Hand of Omega. Anybody looking forward to the new Fatal Fury game? Will that steal MK or Tekken's thunder? It's a serious question, please.
No.
You like no?
I mean, I'll play.
I mean-
what is that sequel to Garou? Or Mark of the Wolves?
The Mark of the Wolves.
It'll
yeah.
be fun. I'll definitely
Sure.
own it, but it's like
But stealing Tekken
it's,
and
it's not. Yeah, it's not going to be on that level.
no, still, it's Fatal Fury has never been on that level.
Who wins in a food fight? Or who are we talking about?
Who cares?
I'm wondering who he's talking about. Like, which characters he's talking about?
Food
I'll-
fight?
Mr. Busy was asking who wins in a food fight. So,
Oh, he's like, just kidding.
I'll
Who's in a
say.
food fight between Batman and Iron
I'll say.
Man?
I was like, that's not a
Hey.
serious question.
Yeah, right.
Batman.
PQ was about to like devolve into,
Yeah,
breaking it down.
right. How is Bruce stopping Reed with prep time? I don't personally see that, and I don't see that happening possibly, and I hate Reed.
Dude, like
Reed
in his
Richards.
first outing, Dr. Doom in the movie like froze Reed. He pumped him full of like liquid nitrogen.
Liquid
and whatnot.
nitrogen.
It was just like,
Mhm.
it's like, so tell me something.
I mean,
What
that's how he
happens
beat
when you
Plastic
freeze
Man.
Rubber, bring it down to absolute zero or whatever. And then
Oh yeah,
Reed was just sitting
that's
there
how. He,
shivering.
if you think about it, that's how you beat Plastic Man and Tower Battle. Just frozen.
Exactly.
So, Hand of Omega is asking a question. Jeff Gann, what is up? Hand of Omega is asking, is Dr. Doom a good guy now? I can't keep up. So, Dr. Doom is not a good guy. He's not a bad guy. He's just Doom. That's literally all I can say.
I don't see nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's
just
literally
does what
just
he
Doom.
wants.
He just
Yeah.
does what he wants. Exactly, Lori. He just does what he
evil
wants.
is a point of view
He
anyway.
wants. If it aligns with the good guys, he's with them for now.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
technically, he's the uncle of Valeria. So I mean,
Yes, he's the godfather to Valeria, so he'll never forsake them. But just by that point, he isn't a bad guy. He's an adversary, but he's not like literally out to kill them all the time. If that's what you're asking, that's not. He doesn't do that. Didn't they reform Lex Luthor? Well, didn't he? Okay, so yeah, the whole reforming of Lex Luthor, him joining the Justice
That
League,
wasn't
that
really-
happened about 6 or 7 years ago.
Mhm.
And yes, that was a thing. And yes, they already have undone that. So he's back to being a supervillain, but now he's in jail because he's afraid of somebody trying to kill him.
All right, hold on. Between Doom and Luther, who's a better villain?
Better villain between Doom or Luther, man. God, that's a damn good one.
Mhm.
I love
Ah.
Kenshiro's just like recap of comics. I think you should just recap comics on your TikTok, and people can just sit there and get caught up.
Okay, that's fair.
That's not a bad idea.
That'll work.
I'm serious.
Story
People will
time-
be like,
story
"What
time
happened
with
in
Kenshiro.
comics this week?" And then you just fill them in.
I like that. That's actually a great content idea. It's a great.
Right.
Thank you, Lori. Appreciate
Tune
that.
to
You're
a
welcome.
TikTok channel near you.
So I think for me personally, just on the scale of just badassery, I'm gonna go with Doom.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Doom because Doom does some, and his speeches are without equal.
I was just about to say the exact same thing because he knows how to insult people and look cool doing it.
It look cool doing it. Yes, dude. This is a man who went toe to toe with Thanos when he had the Infinity Gauntlet. Literally did the Sub-Zero fatality. Literally pulled his skull literally pulled his entire skeleton out from his body. Cold.
Yeah,
Cold.
and that part when he was like, I've been a god before, but you just merely become one. And he was like, well, do you have the Infinity Gauntlet now? He said, no. Fatality.
Yep. He literally fatality.
That's cool. I mean, here's the thing though. Luthor in the cartoon, in Justice League cartoon, was really, really well done.
Oh yes, he was.
That's always
Yes,
been
he
kind
was.
of the problem. Doom has had great stuff out of the comics, and in Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes,
Mm-hmm.
and a couple other appearances too as well. But like Luthor really doesn't get a good representation. I understand John Cryer did a good job.
He
with
did.
it.
Supergirl. Yes, he was fantastic.
But Gene Hackman is not a good representation. He was funny. He's fun and entertaining, but he's not a good representation of the character. Kevin Spacey would have been good if they let him be Kevin Spacey in at the time.
If they let him be Kaiser Soze.
Now with his problems
Yeah.
now, but they made him
I
they made him a sequel to
Mhm.
Gene Hackman in that film.
Yes.
Like he was just a continuation
Yeah.
of that version.
Yep.
Obviously Michael Rosenbaum did a great job, but he was still not. He was Luthor, but he wasn't Luthor on
Right.
that level yet.
Yeah.
So they had a lot of chances to show off how cool Doom is, but he's never been able to do it in a movie. I would love to see him do it in
Yeah,
a movie.
yeah.
I would love to
They
see
just
a perfect Luthor in a movie, at least once.
Perfect.
Because
Yes.
Jesse Eisenberg.
Luther
you're
would
right.
be great, but Doctor Doom, they just can't get a Fantastic Four together to save their lives. They really can't. And I think they should leave it alone at this point. They
Oh, no,
should
it's
bring
coming.
Doom in through another franchise and let him shine there.
I mean, before Chadwick Boseman passed, my idea, or at least my pitch, would have been to have Doom and again, Black Panther 2 story. I don't know what it would have been if Chadwick was still alive.
Yeah.
but I would
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
wanted it to be
The Doom War.
You met no, not even Doom Wars. Again, that's jumping into something. You can't bring a character into one of his best stories on his first outing. That's just cheesy.
Right. No, that's not going to
Bring
work.
Doom in, not even as Doom, as Victor Von Doom
Mm-hmm.
at the UN. They meet at the UN. T'Challa and
Yes.
Doom meet each other. Whatever. Both, rulers of sovereign nations, blah, blah, blah. Little bit of animosity, maybe with the vibranium thing. It's like, okay, well, now that you're going to open up vibranium, here's some, what I want to do, something. Anything like that
Something.
would have been a cool way to
Science
just, here's
conflict.
Doom. Yeah. Bring him in. Don't even have to make him the
Interscience
main.
conflict.
He doesn't even have to be the main antagonist. Just sow that little
Just
seed.
have him there and
Yeah.
start developing him as a character.
Absolutely.
Yes. Thank you.
Yep.
GQ.
I think I did that in Civil War then.
But
Like,
see,
Nah, that's
that-
too early.
Right.
That's when you just brought in Black Panther.
Right. But see, what I love so much about Doom is perfectly encapsulated in that one Avengers Earth and Mightiest Heroes episode, where he just, as a villain, you had the Avengers literally storming Latveria and trying to attack him. He had nothing but the most passive disinterest in everything that they were doing. He did not care.
Yeah.
Like, he was literally just doing whatever he wanted to do. The Avengers were attacking him and he couldn't be bothered. He could not be bothered. Luthor, on the other hand, would be taking an active interest in trying to do so. Like, Doom
Right.
thinks everybody is so beneath him.
You need him.
He is so beneath him. That's what makes him so great. That's what
Yes.
makes him so great. is
That's
that he-
what makes him such a good villain. Is 'cause he
Yes.
really has no compassion or empathy for anybody. He just has his goal and he's going to achieve it.
Mhm. And that's kind of what we didn't get with Namor, because Namor is kind of like that too.
Yeah, he is.
Namor is kind of like that too in the comics.
You got a little bit of that in Namor, but he was also trying to be slightly charming at the
Yes.
same time.
Yes.
Doom has a charm to him but it's not the same type of charm you would normally think. He's not like a romantic. He's just I'm better.
I'm better. Period.
The end of story.
End of story.
And it's just like that's what makes him fun.
Yes.
I don't know what actor is going to be able to embody that.
Ooh, that's a
good one.
Let's brainstorm that.
That's a good one. Who would make a
who has that arrogance?
Who could pull off that type of arrogance? And see, this is what made Julian McMahon, I think, a good Doom, but he was just written poorly, right?
What about my man Juan Carlos?
No,
Giancarlo Esposito cannot be in everything.
I mean, it would be cool.
I'm going to put my foot down on that one. Doom needs to be a white dude this time, straight up. Latveria sounds like it's Eastern European or whatever. Needs to be a white guy this time. No,
has to be a white dude. No race swapping. No creative. Dude. Yes, and he has to be a white guy. Yes,
Henry Cavill would have been awesome.
Yes.
However,
I don't know if he can do the arrogance like that.
No,
exactly. Do that now.
Nice.
Yes, I don't think he can do the arrogance like that.
No, he definitely can. It wouldn't even feel right if he was Doom.
Okay, and Marcus 64. What about the guy that plays Homelander? So Anthony Starr looks. He doesn't look.
Okay.
He doesn't look European enough for me, and it's weird saying that. He just looks like an American dude.
Well, here's what I need. I need somebody that's handsome with black hair. Does Doom have blue eyes?
Yes.
Black hair, blue eyes, handsome, but willing to put that mask on and be Doom once the time comes, and that mask does not come back off.
You know who would have been perfect?
Who?
Mads Mikkelsen.
They already used him.
Yes, and that's what makes me mad.
He's overused.
So
he's a great villain for however he shows up, but nope.
Get his brother?
Mads is overused as well.
Yeah, his brother's playing
Get his brother?
What's his name? His brother's playing Braun. Isn't he?
His brother's playing I'm thinking of so
there it is, Scott Adkins.
Yes. No. no.
Scott Adkins, get out.
I'm
now, so if not him, then get Bill Skarsgård.
No, I'm tired of the Skarsgårds being every villain too, man. Come on, dude.
Everything.
For real. Get somebody new. I guarantee you, go to Central Casting. I'm sure there is some new Eastern European black hair, blue-eyed white dude.
Alec Baldwin in there.
Please, please no. Please no.
Y'all had bonus time for free this. Y'all had bonus time for free this time, so we appreciate y'all for tuning in.
Yes,
absolutely not.
I mean, he could do the arrogant, but not the better than everybody else. He's too.
Just get someone who's comfortable not showing their face. I mean,
well, no, it's not just the not showing the face thing. Doom still has eyes that you can. It's got to be somebody that can emote through their eyes, similar to the way Tom Hardy did Bane.
Nah, he's done.
Hugo Weaving is done with comic book stuff.
He's done. He didn't want to be Red Skull.
Did not want to be Red Skull.
He didn't want to be Red Skull. And
well,
Red Skull
I mean, we knew that
for him.
After the first one, he was done.
Yeah, Red Skull was perfect for him. He just didn't want to do it.
Yeah, it was.
And plus, his voice is too recognizable. It'll sound like, oh, Red Skull is Doom now.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Who? Man, that's gonna be a good one.
Head over Omega. That's not 100% true.
What?
Because Carl Urban did Dread and didn't take his mask off.
He never took that helmet off
once.
Not one time.
Carl Urban was great in Dread.
Yes,
Carl
he was.
Urban is a great actor. Period.
He's a great actor. Period.
As Doom, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see him get a cat.
They let him be Johnny Cage. They might as well let him be Doom, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, the way he does Butcher in The Boys with that level of arrogance, that's what makes me think he could do it, right?
Right. But how old is he?
Oh my gosh, we named everybody on this freaking list.
Yeah, we
so
did.
I just went and I just Googled actors who could play Dr. Doom in the MCU, and number one is like Henry Cavill, and then it was Julian McMahon.
No.
And then Giancarlo Esposito. Like we just basically said that list.
Of course.
Javier Bardem.
Like this
Javier
group.
Bardem.
This group has already done all the Wizards fan casting.
Mm-hmm.
We're experts.
The guy that played Jamie Lannister, they have him on that list.
Really?
Nikolaj Coster-Waldau.
What's the guy that played Jon Snow? What's his name?
Oh, he's already in the Eternals. He's Black
Harrington.
Oh, that's right. Never mind.
Yeah.
That's right. He couldn't.
Yeah.
We have Cillian Murphy. Or Killian Murphy.
Cillian Murphy could be good.
That's Nichols. Dan Stevens.
Tim Allen, absolutely not.
Timid.
I would not pick Dan Stevens.
Or
No.
Salt Lake said.
Oh no, but we'll y'all brainstorm it and leave
Oh,
comments.
what about Matt Smith? He was really good at playing one of the Targaryens, like the arrogance and like I'm better than you.
Hold on. Is Matt Smith that doctor? The one who was one of the doctors?
He was one of the doctors.
Nope.
But he was
that
also
the same dude in Morbius. Absolutely not. Absolutely
Oh,
not.
he wasn't Morbius.
Don't bring up
Sorry.
Morbius.
But I was thinking about more of like House of the Dragon, the character that he played.
No.
Damon.
His Damon was a dick.
Spot on.
He was a
Right?
dick and a half. Yes.
Yeah, but he's
But
not
he didn't
handsome.
care. He was like, I don't care what you say. I'm better
Mhm.
than you. I'm going to do what I want.
That
That
was
dude
it.
is not handsome. That dude mask is gonna be looking all sorts of
He's gonna be under
misshapen
the
and wrong.
That's
That-
why
but you got to shape the mask to his head. That dude got
You know
a funny
what?
looking
That
head.
want
people
Bill
do think he's
Skarsgård.
handsome.
I don't know.
I
who-
personally
hey,
don't think he's handsome. I personally don't think Matt Smith, he doesn't do it for me. But a lot of people think he is handsome.
Yeah,
a lot of people are weird and blind
Yeah,
too.
whatever.
But I mean, that doesn't
Yeah.
mean they're right.
I don't know.
Yeah, whatever.
That
People
dude
like
is
him.
terrible in
Doesn't matter.
Morbius.
All right, y'all.
He is sucked all the way around. What do you expect?
All right, y'all. We've given you more than enough time, extra time. So next week's show is going to be a pretty good one. We're talking about games. Dado thought of this topic. The tech in games is getting better, but it's not exactly resulting in better games. So we're talking about game technology and the evolution and how it hasn't really evolved the games themselves to being very good. So make sure you come back 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central for that next episode of Culture Junkies Live. For my very good friends, the great Dadakuji, GQ, Laurie Calcaterra, and Simon Says, we hope you have a really great week. Go see Blue Beetle, give him some support.
Hold on, wait. What's Lori's? What's going on with Path of the
Hold
Pale?
on, wait. He said.
What's going on with Path of the Pale Rider?
Oh, sure. No, let's.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, my books are being shipped from the printer today. So they left the printer. They're on their way to Texas. So I'll be able to fulfill book number 3. And book number 4, we're going to be launching Kickstarter on September 18th. So mark your calendars and come check out our Kickstarter. We have a pre-launch link. So if you go to Kickstarter and you look up Path of the Pale Rider number 4, you can sign up to be notified upon launch.
Awesome.
Come check it out.
Cool.
All
You didn't
right,
get to
cool.
tell us that before because you suddenly dropped out.
Yes, we were going to
Thank
give you
you.
time to do that, but
I appreciate that. I know I was
Absolutely.
trying to try and do it early on, but kid drama.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're a mom. Can't do nothing about that. All right,
happens.
y'all. We hope you have a really great weekend. We'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.
Bye.
I'm Nick Fury. Even when I'm out, I'm in.
I'm in. That'd be a hell of a line for someone to say. Never mind.
Well, it's already been said. Make sure all of y'all that are in the chat, make sure you follow, all you new people. Hit that follow or go ahead and subscribe.
Mm-hmm.
Give yourself an opportunity to have this fun every week.
You ain't
So
slippery unless you Sam Santana.
So I know we didn't talk about it, but that last Ronin reveal trailer. I hate reveal trailers. Like, why is that even a thing?
They do that all. Dude, they do that all the time.
Revealing the date, no gameplay or nothing like that. Literally just
I
teasing
hate
the game
that.
itself. Like
The
what?
game ain't ready yet.
Right.
Then why?